All right, so in 2 weeks' time, Alex Pereira steps into the octagon once again, and this time with an insane amount of pressure on his shoulders. Of course, Alex Pereira has had an incredible career in mixed martial arts, in kickboxing. He took over the sport. He was the fighter of the year, the belle of the ball, the man of the people. Everyone absolutely loved this guy because you know what? He fought anyone and everyone, and of course, he provided knockouts, okay? Some of the fights were absolutely phenomenal. The one with Khalil Rountree, just unbelievable. The knockouts of Jiri Prochazka, the knockout of Israel Adesanya when he became the middleweight champion, and the attitude of just taking on all comers, okay, and fighting regularly, defending the belt, putting the strap on the line. That is what really got people on board. I thought this guy is amazing, and of course the fight style was very fan friendly. It is mixed martial arts, and wrestling is a big part of that, and Khamzat Chimaev is one of the biggest stars in the organization, but you don't see Alex Pereira hold people down for 25 minutes. No, that's not what you see. You see action, you see violence, you see people getting put to sleep in brutal fashion. However, last time out, that wasn't the case. He went up against Magomed Ankalaev. He lost the belt. He lost a decision pretty soundly, to be honest. And he didn't really do much in the fight. He didn't pull the trigger. Of course, he was on an insane schedule. He was fighting frequently. Maybe he was a little burned out. And he was also flying all over the world. And we spoke about this at the time. I did videos on this. He was in Australia. He was all over the place. He was maximizing on the opportunity of being the champion and trying to rake in all the money that he could and just enjoy the moment. Why not? There's nothing wrong with that. However, what comes first is the fights. And I do believe that was a factor in the Magomed Ankalaev fight, why he lost the fight, because he did look a little bit flat. Or was it a case that Magomed Ankalaev was just a better fighter? And of course, the first time that he went in there was someone about his side. Because remember, if you're a critic, you could be someone that said Khalil Rountree could have fought at middleweight. Jiri Prochazka could have been a middleweight. Israel Adesanya those fights were at middleweight, okay? And then when he steps up against somebody that's big, somebody that can wrestle a bit, yes, he's Dagestani and he's not a crazy wrestling powerhouse, but he can wrestle a bit and the threat of the takedown is there. And of course, these are the style of fighters that everyone has to fight, but he didn't get to fight those. So if you're a critic, you could say, well, he was kind of getting mollycoddled, he was getting looked after, he was getting favourable matchups. No, that wasn't the case. It was just the state of the light heavyweight division at that time. The only person that could really wrestle was Magomed Ankalaev. And of course, he had some weird matchups along the way with Johnny Walker and accidental eye pokes and clashes of heads and all kinds of shit. But when he did get his shot, he maximised on the opportunity. Now, the fight goes down in just over 2 weeks. Alex Pereira came out and said, if Ankalaev loses, it's unlikely that he gets another title shot. And that's kind of a statement that leaves you scratching your head a little bit. Let's remember, we all know Magomed won the first one. If Pereira wins the second one, well, of course, you do a rubber match. You do the third one. You settle it once and for all. There could be a little bit of truth to that statement. If Pereira goes out there and smokes him, dominates him from the opening bell, is super aggressive, pushes him away, mocks him, disrespects him, knocks him out cold, he can just say, listen, I had a bad night at the office. Look at what I did. I'm fresh. I'm motivated. I am not taking things for granted. I just destroyed him and made it look easy. If he was to do that, then yeah, okay, maybe there wouldn't be a third match. But if the fight is competitive and if the fight goes to a decision, then 1,000,000% they have to do a rubber match. Of course, Ankalaev came out and he's not shy of tweeting, or his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, whichever way around it is, he said, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to have any say in it because you're going to be sleeping and on your way to the tire shop again. Of course, these two don't like each other. It's always better when there's that little sprinkle of, I won't say hatred, dislike. And I'm sure down the line these guys will have a lot of respect for one another, but at this moment in time they are mortal enemies, so they're talking a bit of shit. They're getting a little bit personal. It doesn't matter because we as fans, we absolutely love it. Now, there has been a drop-off in support for Alex Pereira. I've said this on another video, but I was quite blown away by this. I did a seminar in Thailand in July, and when I was there, I did a Q&A. There was about 200 people, and they asked me who my favourite fighter was. I said, I don't have one, but who's yours? And I said, I'll throw out some names, and by way of an applause, you guys cheer, and that'll tell me who your favourite is. So I said, Islam Makhachev. I said, Ilia Topuria. Very positive, loud cheer. I said, Alex Pereira. And there wasn't a single sound. Now, if you saw my video where I talked about this before, I apologize for repeating myself. But I was truly in shock Because as I said, he was the fighter of the year. He was the man stepping up all the time. And now all of a sudden, after one little loss, people have jumped off the bandwagon. So I'm curious to see how this goes down and what the reception will be at the T-Mobile Arena. I think it's going to be fine. I think he's going to have a lot of support. I think that the people that were at my seminar, they're hardcore fans. They're training mixed martial arts. The casual fan bases, they love to be entertained. And Alex Pereira always provides entertainment. So when we look at the fight stylistically, of course, they're both big guys. They're both strikers. And of course, Alex Pereira is going to be busier in this one. Simple as that. He's got to bite down on his mouthpiece. He's got to go forward. He's got to take chances. He's got to be the aggressor. Now, of course, he was worried about the takedown threat. So what you do in those situations is that you tend to back up against the octagon because you can defend takedowns much easier against the fence. When you get pushed up against the fence, you start playing this whole game with underhooks and whizzers and things like that. It's a lot easier to defend the takedown. If you're in the middle of the octagon and somebody shoots at you and you get taken down, you got no fence to lean on. Okay, so you're going down and it's a lot harder to get back to your feet. But he can't do that because that's what cost him the fight. That allowed Magomed to go forward. That allowed him to have the octagon control. He was the busier guy with the hands and, of course, the wrestling attempts as well. He had the control. And, of course, he completed a few takedowns as well. So Alex Pereira has got to be the aggressor. Now, that's the main event. I'm telling you, though, this fight card is ridiculous. In the co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili taking on Cory Sandhagen. That is a phenomenal fight. Merab Dvalishvili slowly becoming one of the biggest stars in the UFC, which is an unbelievable arc for this man's career. He's got a record of 20 wins with 4 losses. He's on a crazy win streak right now. He's defended the belt 2 times, took it off O'Malley, beat Umar Nurmagomedov, choked out O'Malley in the next one. But I do believe that Cory Sandhagen does provide some unique problems. His fight IQ is just off the scale. He's a very, very smart and calculated guy. He has a very cerebral approach in there. He has beautiful footwork. Look at that knockout that he had over Frankie Edgar, where he was backing up. He was lulling Frankie Edgar into a false sense of security, backs up and then leaps into the air, flying knee, knocked him out cold, face planted him. Just a beautiful setup. And of course, on the ground as well. The man's ground game is phenomenal. Look at what he did to Deiveson Figueiredo. Yes, okay, it was a knee injury for Figueiredo, but it was the beautiful groundwork and it was the leg lock attempts that kind of caused that scenario. So all in all, that's a great fight. And I do believe that if Merab Dvalishvili does beat Cory Sandhagen, and that's a big if, it's a big if, although Merab is a tough stylistic matchup for anybody. But if he can beat Cory Sandhagen, I'm telling you, I don't think there's anyone in this division right now that can beat him. Before that, this is a phenomenal fight. And you've seen this one and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be a barn burner for sure. Jiri Prochazka taking on Khalil Rountree Jr. Both guys have been beaten by Alex Pereira in devastating fashion. So that kind of hypes up the main event. So as you're watching this fight card and you see this incredible fight between Jiri Prochazka and Khalil Rountree, because it is going to be a phenomenal fight, let me tell you. When you're watching that, you're going, wow, Pereira beat both of these guys. My God, I can't wait for the main event. It's going to be insane. So it's really good placement on the card. Now, when you look at Jiri Prochazka, he will go for this every single time, okay? That's just the way he is. And I love the attitude that he brings, okay? Defensively, he's not the soundest, but man, he is a fighter in every sense of the word. 31 wins, 5 losses. Knocked out Jamal Hill last time out. The former champion Jamal Hill, of course, got him done in the 3rd round. Before that was knocked out by Alex Pereira by that brutal head kick. Before that, knocked out Rakic and was knocked out or stopped by Pereira before that. Other than that, he was doing big things. Knocked out Dominic Reyes. Remember that beautiful spinning elbow attack? That one was ridiculous. Choked out Glover Teixeira in Singapore. I mean, he's just phenomenal. And then on the flip side, you got Khalil Rountree. Yes, he lost against Pereira, but you grow, you learn, you get better, you improve. And of course, that's what he's done. Last time out in Baku, Azerbaijan, he went out there and kind of put a masterclass on Jamal Hill. A lot of people were booing and leaving the building, okay, because they'd seen their local fighters fight. It wasn't because of the main event. They'd seen all the local attractions that they wanted to see. But Khalil Rountree put on a really smart, savvy performance against the dangerous Jamal Hill. He was so good that the only criticism was that maybe he could have pulled the trigger more. But he is a great Thai boxer. And so is Jiri Prochazka. He's more of a karate stylist, but he's a great striker. And these two matching up is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Before that, Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. Youssef Zalal is on an 8-fight unbeaten streak, and this man has improved leaps and bounds. And one thing that he's got that might be a problem for Josh Emmett is a lot of movement. Youssef Zalal is light on the feet, and he's going to dance around. He's explosive, he's fast, he's got some unpredictable striking. Because we know Josh Emmett, he's got the equalizer, he's got the silencer. One shot from this man, and you are going to sleep. Of course, last time out, he didn't get it done against Lerone Murphy, and Lerone Murphy provided the blueprint for Youssef Zalal. Be light on your feet. Do not engage with this man. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Bryce Mitchell, okay? Off to the shadow realm. Simple as that. So that's another great fight. And speaking of power, opening up the main card, we have the one and only Joe Pyfer that beat Kelvin Gastelum last time out. Before that, knocked out the power bar, Marc-Andre Barriault, okay? Joe Pyfer's kind of like Josh Emmett. He has an equalizer. He has ridiculous power. And his opponent, Abus Magomedov, this man's a problem for a lot of people. 28 wins, 6 losses, beat people like Wally Alves, Michel Pereira, Bruno Ferreira, but he has lost when he stepped up against people like Kyle Bohaya, Sean Strickland, okay? They're the 2 losses in the UFC. No shame to losing to both of them. Kyle Bohaya is one of the best. Sean Strickland's a former champion. But can he step up and beat somebody like Joe Pyfer, okay? That's going to be a big if, because Joe Pyfer's got that power. Abus Magomedov starts off really quickly, and he sets an incredible pace, and he's super dangerous in the opening rounds. That fight that he had with Sean Strickland, he almost finished Sean Strickland in the first round, but then he got tired, and Strickland, being a tough son of a bitch, slowly but surely took over the fight the longer it went. Anyway, this one's only a 3-round affair, and that is all I've got to say on UFC 320. Let me know your thoughts on the fight card. Let me know who you think wins this fight. I'm probably going to do a live this weekend as well, so let me know if you're around and I'll do that one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see you soon.